Good morning. How you doing this morning? It's a lovely. The sun is just coming up over here now. I'll show you where we are. That's Andorra over there. That over there is Spain. So we've parked over on the other side of that mountain. Then we walked up here, and then we're going to walk along these tracks here for a while, and then walk back to the car. It's it's fresh, quiet. There's no wind, which always surprised me about this place. I suppose because we're surrounded by the mountains, we just don't feel it. The wind has to be blowing in a certain direction before we feel the force of it. So that's lovely, you know. In Spain where we were, and especially in Ireland, in the west of Ireland, you really see the difference. And it's windy all the time there. It's very difficult to do videos. You have to be much more particular about where, just for the microphone more than anything else. Anyway, one of the things that we talk about in the program a lot is to avoid a lot of the nonsense that you can avoid in life. Avoid a lot of the news media, the social media, all that kind of stuff, which is just winds people up, and you've got no control over it. It seems to be, if you listen to certain channels or listen to certain news channels, that the world is splitting apart, that where the very fabric of our society is breaking up. You can feel like that. And I guess changes are happening very rapidly these days. So what's in 1 minute is out the next. Some people just change their allegiances, change what they. I think people are confused, and there's a lot of polarization. But at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, and you speak to individual people, that's not the case. I don't think. I think it's more exacerbated if you're living in a city than in the country, or in a country like this, like Andorra, or Spain to a certain degree. Certainly in there's parts of Ireland where I come from. The west of Ireland is a lot less polarized than the east of Ireland, or the cities. Dublin would be more polarized than Cork, for instance, and that's the way of it. But things are changing, and they're changing very quickly, and I can understand why people think that what they're used to in their lives is being ripped apart. But I always have to go back to, there was a quote from Mahatma Gandhi, who said that if you want to see a change in the world, you have to start with yourself. And there's another quote, is focus on what you can control, and everything else outside of that. We always talk about responsibility, and responsibility being your ability to respond. And most of the stuff that you're hearing, most of the polarization is deliberate polarization by people who want to get clicks, and that's just basically it. So you can respond by not listening to it. I mean, sometimes I find I'll be out walking on in the morning like this, beautiful morning, beautiful calm place to walk, animals all around me, the dogs are enjoying themselves, and my mind will go on to something that is completely annoying, something that's happening in Ireland, immigration, or government politics, that kind of stuff. And it takes me a while to kind of gently prise myself away from that kind of thinking, but it's doable. I think the more that you can focus on, what you're going to do, what you're going to do today, how you're going to improve your own life today, how you're going to improve the lives of somebody else, that's what it's all about, is what you can do within your own sphere of influence, if that makes any sense. So I love that way of thinking. It just makes me happy when I think like that. As soon as I get outside of that comfort zone into things that I can't control, however upsetting those things might be, however much I don't want the world to change in certain circumstances, the world is changing, and that change, I think, is only going to get, when you look at things like ChatGPT and AI, general artificial intelligence, when that really starts to kick in, things are going to change radically. So you know, I think the only antidote to it is to learn resilience yourself, learn self-confidence in your own abilities to do things, and yeah, push forwards in what you can do within yourself and within your own community, if that makes sense. All right, enough of that today. I'm going to carry on with the boys. He's brilliant. Look at him. He's just lying down there, and Murphy's up there. Normally it's the opposite way around. Murphy will be here. Murphy is he was born an old man, and he will be running around, but Murphy's up there. It looks like he's eating cow poo, but there you go. That's the thing. Anyway, love you and leave you, and I'll speak to you again soon. Onwards and upwards. Bye now.